Immersive Sims are a game genre defined by their emphasis on player choice.
Nah, fuck that. This is an immersive sim. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about immersive sims and how much I enjoy these games. I hadn't really taken the time before to sit down and think about why I do love them so much, because lately I've been a bit busy. However, I decided to take a dive into the history of the genre and its roots because, full disclosure, I don't actually know what an immersive sim is. Like, sure, I get that it's got a lot of this, and this.
By the way, Denton, stay out of the ladies' restroom. That kind of activity embarrasses the agency more than it does you.
But what makes this, and not just something else?
Stay away from good-looking women when you're fighting. Otherwise, you'll get hit with diarrhea.
Huh?
I can describe what's going on in the immersive sims I do play, but a lot of the stuff you find here can be found in other games as well. Games I wouldn't call immersive sims. Or are they immersive sims? Am I just being too strict with the definition? Am I on that whack jack? Oh, perish the thought. Am I wrong? Me? Wrong? Nah, I've got a degree. Look, not in game design, but it's got to count for something, right? I've got to use this thing. Anyway, with immersive sims, or if you're funky, you can call them Imm-Sims, the more I thought about them, the harder it became for me to pin down the particular things I thought separated it as a genre. So I figured, why not go back to where it all started? Or at least where people say it started. If I could see what first defined the genre, maybe I could find what I'm looking for. I'm hunting for that sauce. You know, the juicy goodness, the thing that I just can't describe that's got me hooked on this stuff. Okay, look, I know there's one game that basically gave birth to all ISs, the genre-defining Ultima Underworld, a 1992 masterpiece by Blue Sky Productions, who later become Looking Glass Studios, and I'm going to talk about these guys a little bit later, so just hold my beer for a moment, I'll get to that. It's a masterpiece that didn't just spawn immersive sims, but I'm just going to say a bunch of really cool guys were influenced by these cool cats. I'm looking at you, Bethesda and Valve. But here's the thing. I'm not gonna talk about it in this video. Whoa, look, I can hear you all raising your pitchforks, but look, I have two main reasons for this. Number one, I can only play/cover so much game content because I want a tight schedule to make this video. Some dark, shady forces are after me. I've got minutes before I have to ditch this safe house. I'm looking at you, Hasbro. I still haven't forgiven you for the OGL stuff. And number two, it's old. Like it was made for DOS old. It's awkwardly taking photos of anything reflective while trying to avoid the camera and post it on Facebook Marketplace old. I don't want to force myself to play through something that probably hasn't aged well. Look, it's not a great excuse, but I might have given it a shot if it weren't for other factors. See reason one. And I know I'm going to get some flack about going about it this way, but it's my video, it's my channel, and Mum said it's my turn on the ADHD field niche video essay. Alright, so here's the plan.
Plan is simple. We're getting up to some murder.
I'm splitting this video into 3 chapters, each covering a different game. Why these 3? Well, it'll make more sense as we go, but I picked something similar to what I've played before for reference, something totally different to test my limits, and something I know insanely well as a little treat for me.
So, let's get it. Enough talk.
In all seriousness, it's more to make a comparison to a more modern example. Would you look at that neat essay structure? My 5th grade English teacher would be so proud of me. So let's meet the lineup of games. First we've got Thief, The Dark Project, then Arx Fatalis, then a mystery 3rd game that I'm going to hold off on revealing now for dramatic effect. So, Thief, The Dark Project was a game released in 1998. It was a first-person stealth game made by Looking Glass Studios. Look, I told you I'd come back to these people, all right? They were one of the developers that pioneered a lot of the things that we see in modern stealth games. They went ahead and created an expanded edition called Thief Gold in 1999, and that's the version I played. I actually played it on GOG. GOG has actually quite a huge library of old games that they've preserved, available for you to go and purchase and play on modern systems. If you're looking to play some of these older games, I really recommend going and checking them out. This game included a lot of really revolutionary technology, such as NPC AI systems that help detect unscripted visual and audio cues. Oh shit. They also included things to help you in missions with stuff like water arrows, rope arrows, fire arrows, flash bombs. The game was designed around giving you as many tools as possible to complete the mission. Most missions gave you a very simple objective, such as sneak into this place, steal this thing. You would complete the mission just by doing that thing, but you were given loads of different ways in which to do it.
Oh, yes.
For example, one of the first missions in this game is Lord Bafford's Manor. The mission was simple. You sneak into Bafford's Manor, steal the scepter from him. You're given multiple different ways to get in there, and you're given very limited information. But what you do with that information is up to you. At the very start of the mission, you get an opportunity to buy a bunch of gear and a lot of fun toys to play around with. But once you got in there, apart from a tip on maybe how to get inside through the well, you're left to your own devices on navigating the place and getting in there. See, for example, look at this map. There's very limited information they can fucking give you here. Using the tools you bought, you sneak your way into the manor and secure as much treasure on the side. You know, you got to pay your way somehow.
There's a way to just drop that shit. There's got to be a way to just drop it.
And then make your way to the top of the manor and steal the scepter.
Pretentious can you get? Yoink. Got the scepter. Now we're just gonna get it. Oh no, I don't have to get out. Holy shit, I just have to get in and grab it?
Obviously, there's a bunch of obstacles in the way. First of all, getting inside the complex. There's a bunch of guards in the way. You'll even have to deal with certain terrains that'll make you harder to sneak through. You can sneak your way through and go completely undetected, or you can kill people.
Fuck you. Ow, ow.
Just to take them out. Don't have to worry about them anymore. Or if you don't feel like that, you can sneak up behind them and hit them with a big bat and they just drop like a sack of shit.
Whoops.
For a game that came out over 25 years ago, it's a pretty well-made level. Like, you've got a few different guards you'll have to avoid. You get to learn the movement patterns and time everything out, or try and sneak up on someone and get caught and panic and try and kill them before they go alert the others. It's your typical stealth game sort of gameplay, and while it may seem a little bare bones, for the time it was pretty innovative. And as for somebody coming back to play it 25 years later, this game level holds up pretty well, but this game did a really good job at capturing that feeling of a rogue thief sneaking through the night, slipping in unnoticed and taking the jewels right off their belts. I could definitely see a lot of the aspects here that would go on to influence a lot of other immersive sims. I can see this game's fingerprints all over other games that I've played. There's a lot of deceivingly deep systems here. Like when you're moving, you maintain your momentum even when you're jumping in midair. There being alarm systems around the manors that guards can quickly go run to and alert others. Dodgy sword fighting mechanics. Look, honestly, I wouldn't encourage engaging in sword fighting in this. Someone better than me probably could have a go at it, but honestly, it's a death wish. There's even some rudimentary physics systems. You can stack boxes if you need to get up somewhere higher. I was just really impressed. Look, I go on and on about the little details that this game has that blew me away for a game this old. And while the map does give you very little information, it does actually indeed tell you which room you're in. This was something I didn't work out until late into the second mission, and I really felt like a fucking idiot by the time I got there.
Oh, it highlights what part of the map I'm in. Oh.
Anyway, Lord Bafford's Manor, it's a pretty solid introductory mission. I would honestly give it 6 out of 8 scepters. I don't know. Now, before I go any further, I should mention one of the reasons I picked this game was because I played the 2014 sequel to this game way back when, and I remembered enjoying that. I wanted to go back and see where a lot of the original concepts came from. I'd honestly considered covering that game in this video as well, but this video was starting to get a bit longer than I wanted. I might talk about it some other time. So the next mission was Crag's Clift Prison. Try saying that 3 times fast. The next mission was Crag's Clift Prison. That was breaking in and breaking someone out. It was a pretty interesting mission. I'm not going to talk too much about this mission, except for the part that I didn't expect when I went into this. Nobody told me this would turn into a horror game all of a sudden.
Body. Let's move. I didn't know there was fucking zombies in this.
Yeah, you start climbing up through these mines, and then all of a sudden, these corpses start coming to life. I was wondering whether holy water was going to be a thing, and now I see why it is. It scared the shit out of me the first time it happened. Also climbing up through the mines, I met this funny fella.
That's a fucking skeleton. It's a fucking skeleton if I've ever seen one. What the fuck? He's this goofy guy. What?
This level had a really interesting design, transitioning from a mine to a factory and then to a prison. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it has a lot of the same stuff that I noticed in the first level. To quickly sum it up, you sneak all the way up through the mine, through the factory, into the prison. The guy you want to break out's got COVID, so he just dies.
Well, shit.
Just before the guy dies, he gets you to sneak up and steal some evidence that's probably worth a lot of money. The next level I wanted to talk about was down in the Bone Horde. Long story short, there is a massive underground complex of haunted crypts that you need to break into to steal the Horn of Quintus. This mission sucked. Like the first 2 missions, I felt like this really cool thief sneaking into places, picking up pockets, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor myself. But then I got to this level and it just, at first it was like this tomb and I felt like a Tomb Raider, but then it was just corridors, grey corridors, more grey corridors. I got lost for like an hour and a half in here. I didn't know where I was supposed to be going. I felt so lost. It started to feel like a dungeon crawl. I just felt like I was all of a sudden playing a different game.
All these tunnels. Why are there fucking dinosaurs around? I'm so... Like, the vibe has changed so much.
I don't know why this is in here, or why this was built the way it was. Like, I feel like if they structured this better, this could have been such a better level. I don't know whether it's my personal opinion, or I was just, like, spoiled for 2 very good levels at the beginning, but... if I see any more generic stone walls, I'm gonna lose my mind. No amount of burp dinosaurs and millions of zombies is gonna make this shit mission shine. Now the next mission well and truly makes up for the shit show that is the Bone Horde. It's just called Assassins. You start out where Garrett, the character you're playing, is in a store selling the Horn of Quintus. Then all of a sudden, the merchant dies. He just gets shot. Thankfully, Garrett explains that it was clearly meant for him, and the assassins outside think Garrett is dead. Now, EA and Assassin's Creed has scarred me for following missions, but luckily this didn't feel too bad, as you are supposed to follow these assassins to see who hired them. Now, these assassins take you all the way through the city, if you don't get spotted, and come across a mansion owned by a man named Ramirez. Garrett, being the ego junkie he is, decides he wants to teach Ramirez a lesson by sneaking in and steal the purse of gold off of Ramirez's belt. Now this mission is like Lord Baffert's Manor on steroids. It's a lot more detailed, it's bigger, and you have a lot more tools at your disposal. It's a really good opportunity to flex the muscles that you've been practicing the past few levels. And the great thing is you have like next to no information on this mansion, so you're going in near blind. It's awesome. I was glad the game let me do this. I just stacked some boxes up and climbed over the wall to get in the first place, which I love that. I'm glad the game let me jank my way in.
Oh, yes.
I snuck my way through the mansion near blind, stealing as many keys as I could find, made my way to the basement, and just followed the servants, which led me right to Ramirez. And this mission brings in lockpicking mechanics, which very rudimentary and simple, but it's a nice addition. It definitely adds to the vibe of being a thief. So with the short time that I spent with this game, all in all, it was great. Honestly, it went above and beyond my expectations for what a game this old would have, and it was refreshing seeing these dynamic systems that would become common in immersive sims. Dynamic systems that informed each other to create emergent gameplay. Look, I'm just gonna say it now, I hate the term emergent gameplay. Like, I get for something as old as this, it was a lot more revolutionary of a thing, but emergent gameplay just basically means you do things the game reacts to them and you have to react to that reaction. You can find that in pretty much all games these days. So I find it to be a really flat term that gets thrown around a lot. I prefer to use more sophisticated terms like, oh shit, oh fuck, you're about to press the alarm. No, stop. Be quiet. Lay down. Good night, sweet prince. Now, after playing this game and seeing where a lot of these concepts for immersive sims have started, I'm really starting to get more of a grasp on like, yeah, this is what an immersive sim is. I'm getting the vibes, I'm getting the systems. Now, onto something really different. But could this different thing be a fatal mistake? A Fatalis mistake? A Arx Fatalis Arx Fatalis is a 2002 action role-playing game by Arcane Studios. It's set in a world whose sun has died, leaving the surface to be a frozen and deadly wasteland, forcing the surface creatures to retreat to the safety of caverns. You play as Tom Cruise from the year 2000 and are stuck in a goblin prison. This game has somewhat open-ended gameplay, featuring systems for spellcasting, weapons and armor, and stealth and so on, even some simple crafting systems. I even found a gambling system and instantly bet my life savings away.
It's time to fucking gamble. Let's fucking go. Holy. We're just gonna go again. We're just gonna send it.
This game also provides some interesting physics-based interactions with the environment around you, including your inventory. You cook foods by fires.
That sounds good to me.
This game has some really unique gameplay styles, including having to use your mouse to draw runes in order to cast spells.
Oh shit.
I decided to go with a stealth build as I'd just been playing Thief, and I wanted to see what the stealth mechanics this game had to offer. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a hang on being able to stealth successfully, so I quickly pivoted to just more of a sword and board fighter. But this game has a lot of character and some really interesting characters.
Who you think you talking to? Me, King of Arx. I mean, King of Goblins.
Is this guy in the toilet? It feels quite crunchy to play in the modern day era.
He's like, am I fucking stuck? Are you kidding me? Oh. Help. Help. I'm stuck. How long ago was that? 10 minutes ago. Where was I? Oh.
I noticed this especially as I had been subconsciously comparing it to Thief, which was a bit of an older game, and the gameplay in that felt a lot more smooth and dynamic than what I was playing with this. But as I mentioned before, this game features the ability to interact with the environment around you in a physics-based way. Like in the tutorial area, you can escape by pulling a brick out and bending the bars by physically pulling those with your mouse, and I was really impressed with that. And with all the time that I played the game after that, I never came across something like this again. It really bummed me out. I was so surprised when this first happened, and then I was just excited to have a go at it in other areas, but I don't know whether I was missing something, but just from what I was playing, I didn't come across something like this again. Like there's this one section where you need to find some rope to repair a machine, and I came across this rope here, and I thought this was where I was supposed to grab it, and I spent some time just like trying to break the wood it was attached to just physically grab it with my mouse off the mechanism, and I was just really let down. I felt like this game had presented some interesting physics-based puzzle solving, and then just immediately right after threw it out the window. This part was right after the tutorial where I just explained I'd used literal physics to break out. Regardless of that, I had a lot of fun interacting with the RPG systems of this game. In recent years, I've been going back and playing a lot more old school RPG games, and this just scratched that itch so well. I was really enjoying my time with it. Now, I say the gameplay was open, but for the portion that I played, I felt really closed in on what I was supposed to do. Like, I felt I was put on a very linear path in which I needed to complete the things I was doing, and from what I heard of this game, it was showing quite the opposite of what I was expecting. I nearly considered putting the game down quite a few times until I actually made it to the city of Arx. Now, once I was here, I felt like I could connect with what this game was trying to provide. I was able to talk to the NPCs around here and go to shops and buy and upgrade equipment and gather some mini quests along the way. I continued to play and I got my gear upgraded and I was feeling stronger and I was able to take down enemies a lot more easily and I was really feeling my way. I was starting to head to some other factions. I was trying to help sort out an ogre strike and it was a really interesting storyline and I was getting really invested into it until I had this dark, foreboding feeling kind of overshadow my thoughts. I was playing it and then it just occurred to me, I was like, is this an immersive sim? Like, a lot of people have been saying this is an immersive sim, so I went in expecting a lot of elements from other Imm-Sims I've played, but just as I played it, I was just thinking, wow, this is a great RPG. And that realization of that thought was what drew me towards believing that I don't know if this is an immersive sim. People say it's an immersive sim, so should I include it in the category? Am I not understanding the genre or the principles of an Imm-Sim? Is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with people? Do people lie to me? Oh man, people suck. What the fuck? No, come on. I was waiting to dive into another classic Imm-Sim experience that I was feeling with Thief and other ones I've played like Deus Ex, but oh, come on. I don't think I know anymore what a immersive sim is. This is a dark day indeed. I don't know how to go on. Where do I go from here? I put so much trust in this game, and what do I do now? Can I learn to love again? Wait, do you hear music?
For all of the big and the small, well, the taller they stand, well, the harder they fall. We live for today, but we die for the next. With blood in our veins, in the air, and our chest, till we step into war with our hearts on the line. The dirt on our boots, it shakes free over time. They can't hold us down, we'll fight through each and every one. We'll start new.
Oh man, Dishonored. Now this is a game that I love. This game ended up being the first Imm-Sim I ever played, way back in 2012. Oh man, that was over 10 years ago. Dishonored is a masterclass in stealth, system-based gameplay, and player freedom. Qualities that make it a standout in the immersive sim genre. I got my 13-year-old hands on this for the Xbox 360, and I remember how blown away I was with the level of detail this little guy had. I can admit that my lack of gamer skills at the time meant I struggled a lot, and caused me to not even use half of the mechanics the game presents you with. I remembered I beat the game on high chaos because no matter how much I tried, I just could not properly stealth anywhere, and I'd always have to end up killing a bunch of people. Oh, and before I forget,
this video is sponsored by Sokolov's Health Elixir. In these dark times, the rat plague spreads fear and sickness through our streets. But fear not, for there is hope. Sokolov's Health Elixir, the trusted restorative by the royal physician Anton Sokolov, endorsed by the Lord Regent himself. This miracle formula promotes robust health and fitness, keeping our brave watch strong and loyal. Brewed from rare and potent ingredients, Sokolov's Elixir is your shield against the creeping sickness. Don't leave your health to chance. Sokolov's Elixir, because Dunwall's strength begins with you.
Now, I mentioned it just now, but one of the core gameplay aspects this game brought to the table was called the Chaos System, wherein your actions affected how the world around you changed. If you killed a lot of people, were spotted often, or generally completed missions in a violent way, the game's world would slowly grow darker and much more brutal. More plague rats were present, more infected citizens, guards were a lot more alert. Generally, the world just became more dangerous. However, if you spared most of your enemies, stayed out of sight, and generally attempted to complete tasks in a more peaceful manner,
Challenger, get back to your mark.
the world grew more hopeful. There were less plague victims, there were less guard patrols, and the NPCs around you regarded you more in a heroic light.
And you, Corvo, the things you've done, you could be the worst of us.
Sam.
I can go on and on about what Dishonored brought to the Imm-Sim table and how amazing of a game it is, but honestly, I would rather give it its own video to truly flesh out those details. What I will cover though in this video are aspects the game has that can lend to the discussion of defining the Imm-Sim genre. First, a disclaimer. Dishonored shares DNA with Thief, not just as immersive sims, but as stealth games. And that's where things get tricky. Stealth games often emphasize linear tools such as hiding spots and distractions, while immersive sims demand systemic tools like physics, AI, and emergent interactions. So the trouble with using these two games as examples will be trying to detach elements that are part of the stealth genre that aren't necessarily required of all immersive sims. One of the things this game is most known for are its intricate level designs. Each level feels like its own mini open world, where you are given a singular task to complete, usually eliminating someone. The way in which you complete this task is entirely up to you. You may sneak past enemies and climb across rooftops to reach your target in a secluded area and just kill them with your weapons, or you could set up a trap for your target to walk into after examining their routes. Or if you wish to not have your hands get dirtied with their blood, you can just remove them from the picture with a secret secondary objective, whether it's branding them a heretic in their religion so they lose their influence, or kidnapping them and letting their secret admirer escape with their unconscious body to be removed from the public eye for the rest of their life. Honestly, this is really fucked up. She probably would have preferred if I had just killed her. The game rewards you for engaging with its world. Notes hint at secrets, NPCs offer alternate paths, and environments are littered with opportunities, if you're curious enough to look. You're given a plethora of tools in which to exact your vengeance, from gadgets for rewiring security systems, grenades, and traps.
Hey, can you hold this?
As well as a nice collection of supernatural powers that can be granted you by the mysterious dark god twink figure named the Outsider. You can blink across the world, summon swarms of rats, possess people, or even eventually stop time. These tools help to provide options for any situation and let players completely customize their playstyles through upgrades and skill trees. You can develop these skills by either collecting runes or money to get upgrades. Oh, and I haven't even mentioned bone charms yet, which you can find in and each provide a passive ability you can equip to enhance your gameplay style. These systems combine together to create a living, breathing, and believable world that you can get immersed in. These mechanics combine together to help players create a situation in their favor. This, I believe, is the heart of what an Imm-Sim is. It's not just player choice and freedom, it's the open game concept that encourages you to use your tools to stack the deck against your enemies. Because, let's be honest, in most of these games, they have a much larger advantage than you. Whether it is security systems, a stronger arsenal, or simply a numbers advantage, you are clearly on the back foot. But this game convinces you they're mere obstacles. Not because you're powerful, but because the game whispers, there's always another way. This is it. This is the source I was looking for. This is what makes an Imm-Sim what it is. But even this still feels vague. So what? Are Imm-Sims just power fantasies that make you revel in thwarting your enemies? But no, it can't be that. I remember how powerless I felt in most of Thief. Is it about smart gameplay where you have to use your brain to find solutions? How's that just different to a puzzle game? Is Bejeweled an Imm-Sim? Is it vibes based? That's the closest I've seen it being broken down to online. Most people just say, you know you're playing an immersive sim when you play it, and just know, I think. So maybe with even such a vague argument from myself being presented, am I too harsh on what could be considered an Imm-Sim? Maybe Arx Fatalis can stand amongst these giants. Yeah, maybe it doesn't have the close-knit physics systems that you can use to interact with the world like these other games, but you get yourself immersed in the actions of varying factions and how your actions can influence and change the world of the game around you. And isn't that the point? Immersion? It's right there in the name of the genre. Have I felt myself immersed in this game? Have I found myself immersed in this world? I just recently started replaying Oblivion thanks to that Shadow Drop remaster. Fuck you, Bethesda, by the way. You are the reason this video is taking so long to make. And I know it's an RPG, but I couldn't help feel that immersive sim aspects are here. The way in which each character has the same routine every day, so you can plan out your interactions with them, or when best to rob them. I think that while immersive simulation still holds its own as a genre, it seems to mainly refer to game elements that can be found across genres and games, like shooters. Fallout 3 is technically a shooter, but it's more of a bad game RPG. At the end of the day, immersive sims, or any game, are best played not by worrying about what fits in what box, but by asking the only question that really matters. Did I have fun experiencing this world my own way?